Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United transfer news. Grab yourself a crunchie, it's Friday, the transfer window's open and we have got a big update from the UK on Frenkie de Jong. Now I'm going to put a smile on my face because it is a positive update, but I will temper it with the fact that there will always be people in the chat who have a different opinion. And yes, I agree, this is a brief and it's not a development, and I will tell you why in a moment, but I think it's a very positive brief. Now remember, on Thursday night we got the big story that United had messed up the Darwin Núñez deal and that Liverpool were going to take him. What did we say on Wednesday night, wasn't it? What did we say on Wednesday night? In the next 24 to 48 hours, there'll be a positive brief from Manchester United because they need to keep this positivity going around Ten Hag and this new Manchester United. Well, we've had it. We've had it this morning. They had to do it. I'm not even going to call it spin. It is a brief. It is a development in a way. But the question is, we're going to find out over the next 2 weeks whether it really is a genuine move forward or whether they're just briefing the information as to where we are on de Jong, because some of it is really, really interesting. Now, it's coming in from Laurie Whitwell. I guarantee that James Ducker and Simon Stone are preparing their articles as it speaks, because these are people that we've said, with all due respect, that have very good connections with Manchester United. I don't think, or I don't consider them to be transfer journalists or people like that. These are journalists that are just have close relationships with the club, and effectively when they talk about the club, you can pretty much guarantee it's good because it's come from the club in one way or another. So Laurie Whitwell with the big update this morning, he's saying that Manchester United's main focus so far has been Frenkie de Jong, who has given private indication a move to Old Trafford appeals. Pausing the move, however, has been the fee, set around 80 million euros by Barcelona. Negotiations are underway. That's the big statement. There's a lot more to get into in that, but ultimately what that is de Jong open to United transfer. That's what I read that as, and it's coming from a journalist that has very close connections with Manchester United. Again, if this had come from James Ducker or Simon Stone or even Samuel Luckhurst, I would have said, right, they can't really bullshit people, because if they put that out and it's not true, United are going to be on their WhatsApp going, what are you doing? So that will have been verified, and you can take that to the bank. So what we effectively have here is what we've been talking about for the last few weeks, that Manchester United have clearly been encouraged by Barcelona to negotiate for Frenkie de Jong. Barcelona need to sell. Manchester United will buy. Ten Hag wants him. So we know the Barcelona and Manchester United dynamic, and we know it's been going on for weeks. There is a deal being negotiated there. The stumbling block has always been, does de Jong want to go? Logically, we've spoken about this and said, why would Erik Ten Hag tell Manchester United to negotiate with Barcelona for de Jong for the last month if Frenkie de Jong had said to him, I don't want to come to Manchester United? Considering Frenkie de Jong and Erik Ten Hag know each other, considering it's been put out there, I think 2 weeks ago, that they've spoken to each other, it would literally take 2 minutes, 1 minute, 20 seconds for Ten Hag to say, would you ever want to come to Man United if we put an offer in for you? No, it's not really what I want to go. Thanks, all right, mate. What are you doing in the summer? So this just confirms, and I like this update, this just confirms from Manchester United via Laurie Whitwell that Manchester United are in for de Jong, and that they've had an indication from de Jong that he wants to come to Manchester United. I like this type of communication. Of course it's a brief. I don't think it's spin. I think spin is something that makes you think something's happening that's not. This is the sort of thing I would like Manchester United to do more often. I would rather get briefed by the club via a journalist like James Ducker, Simon Stone, Samuel Luckhurst, Laurie Whitwell, whoever, than get Portuguese reports, Barcelona reports, Romano, whoever else, all who are very good, but you don't necessarily know whether that is actually happening. There's nothing wrong with communicating with your fans, and I think this is what Manchester United have done this morning. The question's going to be, and I think we're going to get it in the chat, is how long's a piece of string? To which I don't know, because I haven't got the piece of string. Hi Mark, love from Perth, Australia. Are you sending anyone on coming yourself here for pre-season? Siddharth, I can confirm we will be in Australia for the tour. Yes, we will. Thank you very much for reminding me about that, because I was meant to mention it a couple of days ago. So, yeah. So, Ricardo says, brief bridge. A brief is where the club wants a message to go out to you that they can't put out themselves. No football club, whether it's Liverpool, Man City or United, are going to go and do a press conference this morning saying, we're trying to sign Frenkie de Jong. He's told us privately he wants to come. You wouldn't do that. You brief the journalists that you've got good relationships with. That's what's happened. I'm positive about this. Not every brief is a negative. And I am positive about this because we've been communicated with. We have been communicated with. Manchester United are in for De Jong. We're negotiating with Barcelona, and De Jong has indicated that a move to Manchester United appeals to him. So Manchester United are well within their rights and should be applauded by us, the fans, because they are doing everything that they should to try and get that deal done. Barcelona, there's an issue with the price. De Jong, a little bit reluctant, but appeals. The move to Manchester United appeals. We're absolutely correct to be in that deal negotiating. What we need to make sure we do now is not what happened with Nunez, where we know we're negotiating and we fail. We must succeed because this is a player that Erik ten Hag wants. So look, I know I said last night I don't really want to be talking about De Jong anymore. It's getting a little bit boring. I don't know that we'll be talking about him for the next few days, and I want to explain that in a minute. But I think this is a very important update for a news show because we are at a point where this is coming from, I believe, wholeheartedly, a club brief, and therefore we are being communicated to by our football club, and we are, where De Jong has indicated he wants to come, and United are negotiating with Barcelona. And it absolutely confirms what many people have been saying for a few weeks now, that why would Man United be negotiating with Barcelona if De Jong doesn't want to come? There has to be some indication, and I would imagine it's something like this. He's spoken to he's spoken to Ten Hag. Ten Hag said, look, I want you at Manchester United. Will you come and play for us? And De Jong has probably said, you know what, my honest thoughts are I want to stay at Barcelona. I'm very happy here. But if they're going to sell me, I'll come and play for you because they clearly don't want me. And I think that's the scenario. I think we'd all agree with that. It's not going to happen until mid-August, says Misbah, who's a member. Quick shout out to the members. We have got our Sangari versus McFred video coming out at probably straight after this video, in fact. I've already recorded it. So a new exclusive video coming out for the members. That's going to come out straight after this show. So if you are a member, watch out for that. If you're not a member, you can click the join button and join. And yes, I am a little bit early this morning because I've got a lot of things on. I've got an appointment at 10:30. So yeah, I had to go live a little bit early. So apologies if you are tuning in a little bit late. I'm sure I can give us a bit of a summary in a bit. But that is the big update on the screen there at the moment. I suppose the next thing I want to say about this is, remember, this is a brief and not a development. I don't think that is telling you we're signing De Jong today. Unless I'm completely missing a few words in there, that is not telling you we're about to sign Frenkie de Jong. That is telling you that we may have lost the battle for Nunez, but we are in the race for De Jong and we think we're going to get it done. This is a positive story to make you feel more enthusiastic about the transfer window if you're feeling a bit fed up about the Darwin Nunez failure. That doesn't say we're going to sign him today. It doesn't say we're going to sign him early next week, and it doesn't say we're going to sign him in the next 2 weeks. What that says is Frenkie de Jong is open to a move to Manchester United, and that we are negotiating with Barcelona, and the issue we've got is that Barcelona want 80 million euros and we want to spend about 60 million euros. So the negotiations are underway, and ultimately pausing the move has been the fee. And look, there's a further update as well. I mean, I purposely kept this one back for you because anybody who thinks we're about to announce Frenkie de Jong with a shirt, this is part of the brief. Manchester United are resistant to straight away pay what Barcelona demand for Frenkie de Jong, given the financial difficulties at the Nou Camp, and do not wish to be Barcelona's bailout. So effectively what that is saying is you might be waiting another month. You might be waiting another week. You might be waiting another 2 weeks. So don't get massively excited that this is going to happen before you watch Love Island tonight or whatever else you're doing on a Friday night. It's very, 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 very unlikely that this deal is going to get done anytime in probably the next week. I'd say the earliest is probably Wednesday when the international break is over. So look, as I said, this is why it's a brief and not a development. Very good brief, positive, tells the fans what's going on. We are in for De Jong. He is interested in coming to us, but we're not going to be held to ransom by Barcelona, which goes back to what Simon Stone said a few days ago. We will not be held to ransom. So this could still take time for Manchester United to resolve the deal. And this is why I'm saying it's a good, positive development, but it's not we're about to sign Frenkie de Jong. And people will say, well, why are the club putting this out? Because if they don't put it out, we're all still talking about Liverpool about to sign Darwin Nunez. What are United doing? It's going to be a crap transfer window. Ten Hag's not going to get what he wants. The club are a brand as well as a football club. All football clubs are. fan opinion, fan mood is very important to football clubs. You play Football Manager, you play any managerial game, they'll have bits in there about fan mood graphs and what they're like. And at the moment, United's fan mood is dropping. So they've got to put something out there to get the mood up. And that's what this is. That's not a bad thing. We're being communicated with. We loved Ranić communicating with us in the press conference. This is the club communicating with us. It's a holding statement. It's like, please don't panic. We are going to do transfers, but they may take a bit of time. And yeah, I don't agree with that. I don't want it to take time. But I think the club are saying, look, we're in for De Jong. He wants to come to us. But it's going to take time because Barcelona are playing hardball over the fee and we're not going to overpay. As I said last night, though, and Career Mode Player Creations Chief says, do you think Neves is the first reserve if the De Jong deal falls through? I do think that. And the interesting thing we were talking last night with Charlie on the show was Wolves apparently want 70 million for Neves. And United are negotiating between sort of 55 million and 75 million for De Jong. So if we get De Jong for 65, it's the same price that Wolves want for Neves. So you've got to put that in your mind as well. And look, I agree with United trying to get the best deal, but it's still going to be a good deal. Although United board of directors are being logical for footballing reasons, waiting is a stupid move. The earlier he comes, the better it is for us, says Sean. Yeah, and look, let's be clear here as well. Ben Carroll, welcome to the United Stand Members Club. Let's be clear here as well. There is always going to be the concern. Maybe it's a bit of a concern in me as well. There is always going to be the concern that we've had with what happened with Darwin Núñez, where we spent a long time talking to him and his agent, and ultimately he's going to go to Liverpool. Is there a possibility that a Liverpool or a Man City or a PSG or a Chelsea or a Bayern Munich go, you know what, we can fund this deal. We've got Champions League football. Maybe we'll swoop in. And that's what United do need to be careful about. How locked in is De Jong on coming to Manchester United? Because as we've seen with Darwin Núñez, there's absolutely no way that Darwin Núñez hasn't given us some encouragement. Look, we may have lost out, but he has given us some encouragement, and a player can change their mind. As I say, when we're talking about people changing their mind and persuading people, which some people seem to have an issue with, one of the biggest examples, and I've mentioned it a few times this summer already, Friday, Roy Keane's going to Blackburn Rovers. Kenny Dalglish goes on a golfing weekend, comes back on Monday, and he signed for Manchester United. He told Blackburn and Kenny Dalglish he was going to go there. Sir Alex Ferguson persuaded him to come to United over the weekend. So things can change, and we probably are that club that isn't as appealing as clubs like Liverpool and everyone else at the moment. Who, when, where? Thank you very much for joining the Members Club and BBK as well. We'll have that new video coming up for you about 10:30. Why are you early? Look, I always try and do the videos at 10 o'clock, but today I have got an appointment at 10:30. And yeah, it was either not do the morning show or do it at this time. So fortunately, we've woken up to some big news as well, which is great. So let's carry on. There's also more stuff coming out from Laurie Whitwell. So this is interesting because he said a couple of days ago that United had been in talks with Núñez for a long time. Manchester United have held discussions on Núñez several weeks ago, but have other priorities for that type of fee. And suggestion Ten Hag boarded a flight to talk to George Mendes, one of his agents involved in Núñez transfer, was spurious. Well, spurious is not the right word, Laurie. Bollocks is the right word. We said this yesterday. I tweeted it yesterday. I can't believe there were fans in our fan base who genuinely thought because a journalist put a print out of a flight from Manchester to Portugal that Ten Hag was on a flight from Manchester to Portugal. As I said yesterday, I can put a flight from Birmingham to Solihull. They won't do that. I can put a flight from Birmingham to Washington. Doesn't mean I've got a private meeting with the president. Absolute bullshit. I think we're better than that as a United fan base as well. I certainly think we're better than that as a community on the United Stand. We've been doing transfer chats for 7 years now, and I think we do know how transfers works to a certain level. And absolutely not is a manager getting on a flight to talk to an agent. It's just crap. And we need to be better than that this summer, because it's scary that United fans thought that's true. Because if United fans think that is true, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing on Ten Hag and Manchester United that some of our fans actually think he's so desperate to get Darwin Núñez, he's going to jump off on holiday to get a flight to go and talk to an agent when Liverpool have got it wrapped up. It's embarrassing, and we don't want to be embarrassed. We need to take the L on Liverpool getting Darwin Núñez. It's disappointing, but I'm already past that. Why would we beat Liverpool in a race for a transfer? Their transfer team is elite, their team is elite, their manager is elite, and they'll be fighting for major trophies next year. Our transfer team is not elite. Our manager is good but has not proved himself yet. and our football club is very, very bad. So, you know, we at the moment, so we're going to lose those type of battles, but at least we, you know, we just need to own it and move on. Manchester United, so yeah, in relation to Darwin Núñez, I do feel that we have just got to own it and move on. I mean, I suppose you could read that and get a little bit negative in the sense that Manchester United were in for Darwin Núñez, but other priorities are more important at that type of fee. Does that not suggest we don't have a lot of money to spend? It makes it come across, and look, maybe Man United as part of this brief are trying to say, look, you know, De Jong was the priority over Darwin Núñez. I would say, Goal Italy say De Ligt is in talks with United. No, he's not, Paul. And I wouldn't trust Italian reports trying to offload a player who plays in Italy. And Sean says, don't understand the United board. If the player is the main target, if it's a slightly higher fee, pay it. Even if it includes add-ons, says Sean. Deck, welcome to the members club. The only thing I would say about that thing below there, why would we not be getting Darwin Núñez and De Jong? That, to me, is the only thing from what has come out this morning that concerns me a little bit, is whilst we were in talks for Darwin Núñez, there's another player that's more priority at that fee. That sort of says we were never going to get Núñez and De Jong because it's too expensive to do that. Well, hold on a minute. This is meant to be a rebuild for a brand new manager who needs people like Núñez and De Jong and a couple of others. That concerns me a little bit because that is not... I don't want to read that from the club. I am not going to be sympathetic to... We've only got so much money to spend. We've got to prioritise what we can get for that fee. Screw off. No, I don't want to listen to that. Newcastle are billionaires. Man City are billionaires. Liverpool are spending a lot of money. Chelsea are going to spend a lot of money. We're miles behind where we need to be. I don't need a summer of, we were interested in Núñez, but we didn't want to get Núñez and De Jong. So we've got De Jong for you. Bollocks. We are miles behind. We cannot have a summer where we are putting stuff out about, well, we've got more important priorities for that fee. So, it's like allocation of money, isn't it? Well, we can't get Núñez anyway because we've got to spend that on De Jong. No. Bloody generate some money, you prats. You put enough in your back pocket. So I don't like that. I'd rather be, we spoke to Darwin Núñez, couldn't come to an agreement, and ultimately he's going to go to Liverpool. That's better than saying we spoke to Darwin Núñez but decided that we'd rather spend the money on De Jong. Two separate positions, two separate issues that both urgently need resolving. We can't put ourselves in a position where we're going, yeah, we've got to use that money for that. So I don't really like that update, to be honest with you, as an excuse as to why we haven't gone for Darwin Núñez and Frankie de Jong. Still with Whitwell, he goes on to say Manchester United have looked at Calvin Phillips, but the strong sense now is that he is not a genuine option. Yeah, I would agree with that. Kante may be available for a reduced fee, but concerns over his injury record. I would agree with that. Jude Bellingham remains top of the wish list. Any approach would be next summer. Well, look, again, you could put Mbappe in there. That Jude Bellingham thing should not even be in there because he's not leaving Dortmund. And the queue for Jude Bellingham next summer will be Bayern Munich, Liverpool, Manchester City, Real Madrid. Everybody will be in for Jude Bellingham. So I don't even know why that's in that brief, because all that does, that is spin. The Bellingham bit is spin. That is positivity with no end game. Like the story about De Jong, the story about Núñez, the story about Phillips, even Kante, that's a brief. That's good communication with your club through a journalist. Bellingham is spin. That's fake positivity fed to your fan base, because we're not getting fucking Bellingham, are we? Not this summer, and probably not next summer, because we won't be in a position where he's going to choose us over Liverpool or Man City or anybody else. So the Bellingham thing is irrelevant. It shouldn't even be in there. It's bad because it's not relevant to this summer and it's not relevant to next summer. What I want to know is, if we're not getting Phillips and we're not getting Kante, who are we going for? I would like to have read, we're not in for Phillips, Kante's injury record concerns, but we're taking a good look at Sangari at PSV, because that's what bloody Liverpool are doing right now. So that's what we should be doing. So yeah, I mean, all in all, I'm positive about this communication. I think it's a holding statement, basically. In a political sense, it's a holding statement, and what that means is it's damage limitation in some ways. That Manchester United are a I wouldn't say we're a political animal, but I would certainly say that we are a club that dictates people's mood. And on Wednesday night, it was a low blow for Manchester United to publicly be humiliated, in the sense that we have been communicating with Darwin Núñez for weeks, and he's going to go to Liverpool. United this morning have put out something that spins things in a positive way. Not spin, I don't want to use the word spin on this, but United have communicated where they are at in relation to Frenkie de Jong. And Brando, welcome to the Members Club. Love the videos, Mark. Hope we can get the de Jong and Timber deal over the line to keep the Ten Hag momentum going strong into the start of the season, says Ben Carroll. And it's scary that Liverpool and City are spending 100 million on players, need to have a much better window than these other clubs, says Sarash. And remember as well, just very, very quickly, remember as well, I've not changed my opinion on the trying to get my words out here. I don't normally get stuck. I've not changed my opinion ever on where we're at. 75% sure that de Jong's coming to United. I said that to you 4 weeks ago. I stay 75%. 80% that Timber's coming to Manchester United. I still stay 80%. And people can at me on Twitter. They can get in the chat. They can get in the comments and go, "Ha, you're going to look a right idiot when this doesn't happen." But you know what? I've always stayed where I am. And I think a lot of people in the chat have as well. But you know why I've always stayed where I am? About communication and honesty. Like, I don't, in a transfer window, go up and down like a bloody roller coaster off every bit of news. The most important lesson in a transfer window is to learn what happens in a transfer window, and the only way you do that is year after year after year after year, because every report is just a different version of another report in a different transfer. And some of our fans are like, "We're not getting de Jong now. We are getting de Jong now. We're not getting de Jong. We are getting de Jong. We're not getting de Jong." I think what we've had today is essentially a holding statement from Manchester United via Laurie Whitwell, and I'm sure there'll be more this morning from other outlets, to say we are in for de Jong. It's a difficult deal to do because Barcelona want a better price than we want to give them, but de Jong is open to the move. Now, some people think this is a major development this morning. De Jong's decided to come to United. No, he hasn't. He hasn't. This is where we've been for the last 3 or 4 weeks. Because there's absolutely no way United would have spent 4 weeks negotiating with Barcelona if they didn't have an indication from de Jong that he wanted to come to United. You don't start negotiating with a football club. Imagine you're the manager of Manchester United and you want to sign Neymar from PSG, and you get in contact with Neymar through his agent and say, "Would you want to come to Manchester United?" Not in a million years. Not if you were the last club on the earth. I would never ever want to come and play for Manchester United. You're not going to put the phone down and ring PSG up and go, Would you accept about £100 million for Neymar? Well, not 100, but we're up for negotiations if you want to talk for the next month. Let's do it. You're not going to do that because you know Neymar doesn't want to come under any circumstances. And again, it's a bit like the flight for Ten Hag to Portugal yesterday, which was bollocks. The fact that some of our fans think that de Jong adamantly doesn't want to come to our club is hilarious. It's been very obvious for the last month. He's been giving some indication that he wants to come. And as I said a few minutes ago, that indication will be, I want to stay at Barcelona, but if they decide they're selling me, I want to come to Manchester United because you actually want me. So essentially, that is where we are with that. Of course, remember as well, the transfer window is open today. Very important that you remember that. Onka, welcome to the Members Club. Transfer window is open today. Doesn't mean anything. It doesn't really massively mean anything, because it doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to get that deal done today. I mean no offence by this, Mark, but on Timber, do you think you're sticking at 80% out of stubbornness, says Joshua Bowater? I'm 50-50 because of the national team issues. Well, look, Joshua, I respect you. You do make a lot of contributions to the channel, and you have been somebody who's been part of the channel for a very long time. But I do not take kindly to you saying, are you sticking to 80% out of stubbornness? I don't do that. I'm not actually a stubborn person, and I wouldn't do that to a community where we get thousands of people watching us every day. I'm not going to give people false hope and say, oh, I'm 80% on Timber and I'm 75% on de Jong because I've plucked it out my arse and I'm just going to be stubborn about it. As I've always said, Joshua, when a statement comes out that makes me think, right, that's not happening, I've got no issue with going, well, I was 75% yesterday, but today I'm 50%. Remember with Nunez, I was never above 50-50. I always felt that deal was not that it wasn't going to happen, but it could go either way. So look, ultimately I've been proved right with Nunez. I was 50-50 on that, and it's not going to happen. De Jong 75%, Timber 80%. I mean, at the end of the day, they're just numbers, but there is nothing out there that makes me think we're not going to get Timber at the moment. I know there is talk about him staying at Ajax, but realistically, I've watched so many transfer windows over the years. You've got to fill 2 or 3 weeks with something. I felt that Timber was going to happen a lot quicker than it did. It's clearly not going to happen until he's had his international break and gone on holiday. Therefore, people have got to fill that gap with something. And it can't be every day. It's getting closer. Closer than close. Closer than you ever can imagine. We're close. I said close. Closer, yeah. No, we can't do that. There has to be, oh, it's close. Oh, transfer blow. Oh, he's having second thoughts. I mean, we put that on our thumbnails because that's the headline. Like, it's a news show, but I am not, at this point, there is no reason to drop. De Jong is 70 plus Sangaria for 30 equals 100 million. Still got 50 to 60 million. Your opinion, to Sparsh? Mate, I'd love Sangari to come to Manchester United. I've done a video on Sangari that's going to be our members video today, showing you what he's all about. But I've got to be fair and say there isn't really a lot of news around him to Manchester United other than that Sky Sports story. And the question with Sky Sports are, when was the last summer Sky Sports were good? Hopefully they're going to be right. But I also remember, and some of you will remember, was it 3 years ago in January, Sky Sports report Chelsea and Manchester United are in for Samari. Were we? No. So, you know, Onka, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much for joining there. Frankie's flirting with United. Look, the title says De Jong is open to United transfer. If we go back to what Laurie Whitwell said, which we will do in a minute, then, you know, I'm 75%. There's still 25% chance it could fall apart. Of course there is. But, as I said, what is this story this morning? And I'll put it back on the screen for you now in case people are tuning in a little bit later. This is from a journalist that we know, like James Ducker, like Simon Stone, like Samuel Luckhurst, are in groups with Man United Communications, talking about things, getting confirmation on things. They would never put something out which is complete bullshit because they would destroy their relationship with Manchester United. So even if they're getting it from a source close to De Jong, they'll still verify it with Manchester United. That is verified by Manchester United. That is a communication that Manchester United want to go out there. And the reason they want it to go out there is because it's a positive communication with you, the fan. Because on Wednesday night, there was a negative communication that we've missed out on Darwin Nunez to our biggest rival, Liverpool. And I said it on Wednesday night, and many of you said it as well. There's going to be positive news around Manchester United in the next couple of days. And there it is. Frame it. Communicated, Manchester United verification on it. That is where we're at with De Jong. He's open to coming to United. We're negotiating with Barcelona. But don't put a time limit on it. Do not put a time limit on it, because the next update tells you not to put a time limit on it, because Manchester United are resistant to paying what Barcelona want, and they do not want to be Barcelona's bailout. So there's nothing in those updates that say he's going to sign today. He's going to sign next week. He's going to sign before we go on tour. It could go and go and go. I would suggest it won't go beyond the back end of June, because Barcelona need to cash some money by the 30th of June. But we're on the 10th of June. This could take 2 weeks, and it's still only the 24th of June. I suspect things are going to escalate as soon as the international break is over, because De Jong needs to make a decision then. But I don't think De Jong's agent has been to speak to Barcelona about this yet. So we're definitely going to go beyond the weekend on this. And I'll say this right here, right now. I and you and some of us are going to get very bored with the De Jong story again very soon, because you can't keep updating the same thing. Effectively, Man United have been in talks with De Jong for 4 or 5 weeks. De Jong will have given an indication privately that he's open to a move 4 or 5 weeks ago. So we're just getting publicly what's been going on for weeks. It's a holding statement. The development's going to come from when Barcelona decide to sell us to the price we want to pay. And that's the barrier at the moment. Barcelona need to accept a fee from Manchester United, tell De Jong they're selling him, and then we'll negotiate with De Jong. So I don't like putting a date on it because things can happen really quickly. We saw that with Cristiano Ronaldo. But I would say at least a week, maybe 2 weeks before we see real movement on this. I hope for quicker, but it's a communication of positivity, and I suppose we should take that. Jack says, how long have we been chasing the player? I don't want to spend the whole summer trying to get one player again. The club never changes, says Jack. And I agree with Jack there. Jack, thank you very much for the super chat. But I also agree with you, because if you take this update here, go back to it again from Laurie Whitwell saying that Man United held initial discussions on Nunez weeks ago, but have other priorities at that type of fee. That worries me, because that hints of the past. One deal at a time. We're only going to spend a lot of money on one player. That hints that we haven't got a massive budget and we're working on one deal at a time. Because, yes, we spoke to Nunez, but we didn't go through with it because we've decided to spend the money on De Jong. Two separate positions, and it also hints that we've got a low budget. So I don't like that update, but I was talking to somebody this morning who said, if we get De Jong, I'll be very happy with our transfer business. And I said, well, I won't. Because it's not about one player this summer. We've just seen probably the worst team most of us have ever seen play for United last year. We need a whole new team. One player ain't solving that mess. This summer's meant to be a mass clear out and 4 or 5 players coming in. De Jong would be a very, very exciting signing. Very exciting. And I would applaud it. But it can't just be that with a couple of crappy players. We've got to judge this summer in its entirety. And United are not. Otherwise, we're just doing what we did last year. Sancho as a signing was brilliant. Varane as a signing was brilliant. Ronaldo as a signing was brilliant. But it was a crap summer because we didn't solve the biggest issue in the midfield. So De Jong could be a great signing, but it could still be a crap summer if we don't solve the multitude of issues that we've got. This summer has to be judged in its entirety, and Manchester United have got to deliver on that. I wasn't meant to start singing then. Thoughts on getting Timber, De Jong and a fullback instead of another midfielder to give a chance to Fred and Garner this coming season, as they have made positive strides, says Richard. I'd rather not. I'd rather not do that, Richard. I'd rather go and get someone like Sangari, who I think's a steal at 27 million, but you may be right. Ravi, welcome to the members club. Thank you very much. Would you sign Werner? Cheap backup striker option, says Bazza. I personally haven't got a problem with Werner. We were talking yesterday about giving Martial a chance. If he doesn't want to go, then someone like Werner would be worth a shout. But I don't know how possible that would be to do that. It's never easy to take a player from another club. Lille in the Premier League, who is a rival. Would you rather spend big on the midfielder up front instead? I hope we move smart with signings and get the essentials the manager needs, says Lil. I tell you what, Lil, I think you made a great point as well. It looks like from the latest update from United that's probably what we're going to do. We're going to end up buying a player who is... we're either going to spend big on the attacker or we're going to spend big on a midfielder. My feeling was that we were going to do both, but clearly that may not be the case based on what's on screen below, that United wanted to prioritise that money for something else. Little gift from me this morning, 10 United Stand memberships for you. 10 of you will have got one. Welcome to the Members Club. Just gifted you 10 there. Welcome to the club. The reason I've done that is because we have got a new video dropping for you at about 10:30 today, which is Sangari compared to McFred, showing you the scout report on what he's all about. We do this each week for our members exclusively. So welcome to Members Club newbies, and you get one of those each month and your badge in the chat, as well as the opportunity to to vote for what videos you want. And we've got some really exciting stuff coming up later in the month and July as well. But of course, if you're not a member, don't worry. One day you may choose to join yourself, or you may get gifted one. But we still have all the free content we've always given you. Morning shows, afternoon shows, 8 p.m. shows. And there was a 7 a.m. show that went up this morning that's well worth a watch. Ten Hag's predicted 11 for the opening game of the season with transfers. A lot of people enjoyed that. Make sure you check it out. Ravi says, if Lukaku goes to Inter and looks like Dybala is also going there, would Man United try for Lautaro Martinez, says Ravi. Who knows what the option is for the backup for Manchester United? Who knows? I don't really know what might happen there. But, you know, as I said yesterday, personally, if we're not going to get Darwin Núñez, I would like to go for Anthony. But I am starting to think now, what is the actual transfer budget? If we're saying things like we liked Núñez, but we've got other priorities at that fee, they're two separate. I mean, how can you even say that? Man United spoke to Núñez, but we've got other priorities at that fee. So we're basic. I do not like this update. I do not like this update at all. I know I've said it before. I don't like this update because what this says is we spoke to Núñez, but it's either Núñez or De Jong at that price. We can only afford to get one player around 70 million quid. That's terrifying. They're two separate positions. They're two separate big holes in the team. And we're going, well, we can only afford to get one. What if Núñez had said he wants to come to United and De Jong said he wants to come to United? You're genuinely telling me we would have gone, yeah, we can only afford one of you. And why can we only afford one of them when they're two priority positions? I do start to worry a little bit about this summer transfer window, and have we actually got as much money as we think? And what I mean is, have we even got 120 million to spend? Like, have we really? Because that sort of worries me a bit, compounded by, oh, there's so much potential in this team, it finished second. Ten Hag said that himself. As I say, we'll only be able to judge these things in August, but I do have a little bit of a concern about, you know, you can't pick and choose. You can't say, well, I like the bit where Laurie Whitwell's been told that we're in for De Jong and he wants to come to the club, but I'm going to ignore the bit that says we're not in for Núñez because we can only pick between De Jong and Núñez at that price. That worries me. That does worry me because this is Ten Hag's first season. It's his first summer. Ollie got 150 fucking million. Never should have got the job. Ten Hag is the right man at the right time. We can't just be giving him 80 million net spend. You've got to give him upwards of 150 million quid. And if we're not going to do that, that really terrifies me because I can't get on board with there's so much potential in that team. They finished second a year ago. There's not potential in that team because none of them could be asked to even try last year. We've got to mix things up. We've got to bring quality in. You can't polish a turd no matter how good you are. And they're not all going to come back. Maybe one or two of them will have a better season next year, but not 7, 8 or 9 of them. So, yeah, that would probably worry me a bit. But ultimately, it's a positive update. And I think United needed to do it. They needed to come out and say that Manchester United are focusing on De Jong, that De Jong is open to the move, and that Barcelona are the current barrier to the deal as they want too much money. Hi Mark, what do you think about Muzza Diaby? Says Sean. I've not heard anything linking us to him at the moment, mates. I haven't really. The board's inactivity is once again very worrying, says Andy Bell. Look, we're just going to have to wait and see, aren't we? As I say, this update doesn't say it's going to happen today. And I think again, I would put them in the crowd of the people who thought Ten Hag was on a plane to rescue Darwin Núñez yesterday. Some people think that this update means we're going to announce De Jong this afternoon. We're not. In the statement itself, it goes on to say that it's not happening soon. Man United are resistant to straight away paying what Barcelona demand. It's a holding statement. It's a brief. We are in for De Jong. Don't panic. We're trying to get it done. We're taking our time though. We won't be held to ransom. Easily days away. At best, days away. Probably 1 or 2 weeks away. In other news, just a little, I just grabbed this from Daily Blind, not personally, but he said, I know this manager, Ten Hag, has the quality and I hope he gets the time to put everything his way and make sure the team plays how he wants. I'm confident he will be successful. So Daily Blind giving a bit of an interview on Erik Ten Hag, who obviously he's played for the last, 2 or 3 years. And also an update from the club as well in relation to Mike Phelan. He will not be part of the coaching setup for Erik Ten Hag, but he will be kept on at the club because Manchester United gave him a new contract back in October, so Phelan will probably stay. Frenkie de Jong has given private indication that a move to Manchester United appeals. We know that one. Man United are increasingly confident of signing Frenkie de Jong and hope to conclude a deal swiftly. That is coming in from TalkSport. Look, TalkSport also said but we're in for Oxlade Trampoline, so I don't think that I'm going to take that come. Good update from European lad. He says it's starting to become serious regarding Frenkie. He'll be interviewed tomorrow, most likely to, as we will play, and he will start. So yes, watch out for tomorrow, because De Jong probably will be interviewed tomorrow about it. So we'll probably get a little bit more. That would be the case. I do think we're in for a second midfielder, by the way, and I just don't know who. And I would challenge anybody to tell us who we're in for. But I do think we are in for a second midfielder. In relation to Mike Phelan, I've not really got a problem with Mike Phelan. I don't think he's very good at the job, but this is United being United again, isn't it? They never should have given the contract to Mike Phelan back in October. It's probably going to cost them. Look, I can see a lot of people in the chat saying, "Oh, I can't believe Mike Phelan's staying at the club," but that's United's mistake. It's a bit like Phil Jones, isn't it? We gave Phil Jones a 5-year contract when he was injured, and then we're moaning that he's still at the club. He's on massive wages and nobody will want him. Mike Phelan, if we sack Mike Phelan now, 6 months after giving him a new contract, his severance pay will be huge. So the club have probably said, well, rather than pay him a load of money to go, let's find a role for him within the club and get him to work for us. So that's basically what's happening there with that. Welcome to the Members Club, Ashley Barrett as well. Thank you very much for your super chats. And Ericsson would count as a midfielder, says George. Can't really play in a midfield too, though, George. I think that's what we're talking about. Ten Hag has his work cut out, says Paul. What are your thoughts on who we should sign at right back, says Thomas. I don't know, mate. I mean, on the video this morning, I mentioned a fullback. Ten Hag's predicted 11 next season with transfers. I basically went with Malacia, who's a left back, because I think that's the only one that's viable at the moment that we've really been linked to. I know Dumfries has been mentioned from Inter, and I know Spence is a fan favourite in the community, but nothing's advanced for any of those at the moment, and that's something that we do need to obviously consider, that nothing is advanced there yet. So we can't really say that we're in for a right back at the moment. Hope De Jong will happen soon, says Jawa. I mean, I get what TalkSport are saying there, that United want to get the deal done swiftly, but is that not just another brief? Like, United want to get the deal done, but Laurie Whitwell himself says the hold-up is Barcelona. Maybe Man United wanted to sign De Jong last week. I bet Man United wanted to sign De Jong today. But the hold-up is Barcelona in the fee, and they've got to accept the fee. So I don't really think United can get this deal done any quicker than they're trying to get it done, unless they pay what Barcelona wants, which is not what they want to do. Again, I think that we are in a situation where, with De Jong, where we've got to take the positivity of the brief that's come out, that we are in for him and he is open to coming to us. But how long's a piece of string? All right, okay, maybe on Sunday he'll sign. I very much doubt it. I don't think we've agreed terms with De Jong yet. An openness to joining us is not, we've agreed wages, we've agreed contract length, signing on fees, bonuses. I don't think we've done any of that yet, and that will take days to do. And we've still got to agree with Barcelona a fee. So I don't think we can take an update from United that they're eager to get this deal done quickly as an indication that we are going to get it done quickly, if you know how transfers work and you specifically know what's happening with this. United aren't in control. They've got a player that probably wants to stay at Barcelona but will come to us if Barcelona decide to sell. But we've not agreed a fee with Barcelona yet. And I suppose there's always that risk in the background that Barcelona might be working on some other way to make money. So, yeah, everything is good in the De Jong, and I'm definitely still 75% sure we're going to get him. And we've definitely had a really good positive brief that United want him and that he's open to coming to us. But I don't think it sounds like United are in a position where they can push the button and he's holding up a shirt any time in the next week, if I'm honest. But yeah, I think it will happen soon. And of course, look, I'm not going to start checking tweets of people we've never mentioned on the show before just because they want to jump the gun on a deal they've got absolutely no credibility around. I think with just this is the area I don't like, where people who've got no credibility on transfers start getting mentioned in our community, and people just want to believe it's true. United are £20 million apart from Barcelona. And Manchester United have agreed some terms with a player. Bullshit. We haven't agreed personal terms with Frankie de Jong at all. 100% we have not agreed personal terms with Frankie de Jong. We have not agreed a transfer with Barcelona either. So people, I can almost shout the names out at you, but I'm not going to give them the shout out. Like, there are certain people who are not credible, who when a transfer comes along, start putting out bullshit because they know they're going to get retweets and likes. Like, listen to what Laurie Whitwell has said. We've not agreed a fee with Barcelona. De Jong is open to a move to Manchester United if a fee is agreed. That does not mean that we have agreed terms with Frankie de Jong, who's in the Dutch camp at the moment, and when he went into the Dutch camp, was almost saying he doesn't want to come to United. So This is why you end up getting frustrated, because you start believing bullshitters who want to try and get some credibility, who ultimately will get found out because they haven't got any credibility. Like, I'm not the voice for Manchester United here, but we do need to be a bit realistic on this. This is not we're going to sign him this afternoon. It isn't. It really isn't. This is we're in for him. We're working on it. He would like to come to us if Barcelona decide to sell. And we've got to get to that point first. The first thing we've got to do is get Barcelona to sell and agree a fee. All this bloody terms agreed with the player bullshit, it's just people doing it for whatever reason they do it. I don't know why they do it. I mean, narcissists, I don't know. Morning, Mark. Hope you're well. Do you think that it's because of Van Hal comments that he's stalling the deal for de Jong, says Mikael Roach? No. And I'll just say this. Look, on Timber, we had some good information. On de Jong, no. I can't pretend or lie or bullshit to you and say, yeah, we've got someone close to the de Jong deal and this is going to happen. Absolutely not. Do not have that. So most of this is just observation and experience that we're talking about. And that's why the Laurie Whitwell update this morning is a good one in a positive sense, because it's a communication from the club that we can take. But look, for anybody who's doubting it, tell me what it is about that. Man United's focus so far has been de Jong, who has given private indication a move to Old Trafford appeals. What part of that means he's agreed to come to United? How can you get that from a journalist who's close to the club 2 hours ago, and then somebody with no credibility 2 hours later saying we've agreed terms with him? What part of that makes you think we've agreed terms with de Jong? A move to Old Trafford appeals. That doesn't mean he sat there I've signed a deal. The move has been paused because of Barcelona. Manchester United are resistant to pay what Barcelona want, given the financial difficulties at the Nou Camp. What part of that is we've agreed terms with de Jong, and we're very close to signing him? I mean, I almost feel sorry for some of our fans who swallow this bullshit. Oh, Ten Hag's on a plane. He's on a plane. I've seen a printout. Look, there's a plane from Manchester to Portugal. I've seen it. He's on a plane. He's going to save Darwin Núñez. I'm surprised. Why did he need a plane? Sounds like a superhero. Was he flying there? I'm going to save you, Darwin Núñez. You will not go into the hands of Jurgen Klopp. I'm flying to Portugal to save you. I'm in Uruguay. I'm flying to Portugal to speak to the agent who's not your agent to save you. I mean, people just want to believe anything, don't they? Love you in the channel, Mark, and love from New Zealand, says the Gaming Panda. So yeah, look, in relation to de Jong, I really hope that we're not talking about de Jong for the next 4 days, because I don't think we're going to be signing him over the next 4 days. I think what's happened is we've had clarification on where we've been for the last 4 weeks. I don't think what we know today is any different from the situation 4 weeks ago. 4 weeks ago, we were talking to Barcelona. 4 weeks ago, de Jong had given private indication that he would come to us if Barcelona sold us. That's exactly where we are today. We've just been communicated that by the club via a journalist. And I think what we need to do is agree this fee with Barcelona. Barcelona need to agree to follow through. And once they do that, we can then negotiate with de Jong and get this deal done. And I would say any time from next Tuesday to the 24th of June. Somewhere in between there. That's what I would say. But we will have to wait and see what happens, because ultimately I think there's a lot of bullshit going out there. And what I would say is you are going to get Barry bullshitters saying that we've agreed terms with De Jong, that we're very close to signing him, and they're opportunists. They're opportunists. And the reason I get quite frustrated by this is because we've got a community and it's our community. If people don't like it, they don't have to watch it. It's a free world. But when people start in our community to be, conned by these con men, then it's frustrating, because then you get people going, oh, we're going to miss out on him. Oh, I'm so, people get frustrated. Like, you've got to manage expectations. And if I'm absolutely blunt, what Laurie Whitwell's had confirmed and verified and put out from the club today, that's a holding statement. That's meant the purpose of that is to make you realise we are in for De Jong. We are working on De Jong. Please don't get too upset about us not getting Nunez, but have a bit of patience, and we're not going to be held to ransom. That doesn't help when people start going, yeah, we've agreed terms and it's going to happen today. I've been told this by my imaginary friend. You haven't been told it. You're doing it. You're doing it because you're taking advantage of people. And I could do that. Apparently that's what we do, which is not what we do. But I could say that. I could say, I'm convinced this is going to happen in the next 24 hours. I'm 99%. But I'm not. I'm 75%. And I don't think it's going to happen any time in the next few days. Because I just don't see it. I don't see it happening anytime in the next few days, but we'll see. Agree, Mar. Lots of moving parts, so rumours need to be seen as just that. More concerned there is a limited credible news about our plan B and C signings, says Brian. My major concern, and I'll leave it back up on the screen here, my major concern is actually this. That's my major concern. If I can get it up on the screen. About Nunez, not that we missed out on him, but it basically says that despite talks, there are other priorities at that fee. That to me suggests that we were going to get De Jong or Nunez. Well, one's a striker and one's midfielder, and we need both. Why would we only have enough money for one? And that's what that reads to me. That's what concerns me. How much is our budget? So look, I believe we'll get De Jong. I'm convinced we're going to get De Jong, but my concern is, what's the budget? The Gaming Panda, thanks for the super chat there. And we'll have to wait and see. But don't put a time limit on it, says Grabbing the Headlines. I agree. Don't put a time limit on it. Let everybody else start putting stuff out. Absolutely not. And can I just say as well, anybody saying that we've agreed terms with Frankie De Jong, where are you getting this information from then? Because nobody close to United's putting that out. Nobody close to De Jong's putting that out. And nobody close to Barcelona's putting that out. And I know that for a fact because I know a lot of people who are in those conversations. And I'm not in those conversations, but I know people who are. And around the De Jong deal, it's always been pretty watertight. And there's a certain place it will come out first. And I doubt anybody knows where that's coming from unless you're in the industry. So let's see what happens. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care. I'm just about to put out the members video, Sangari versus McFred. So that's well worth a watch. And I'll speak to you all in a minute.